Sharonda Williams pair Waits. Hi, how are both of you doing today? You look so
Yeah. You know what I love about
jazzier.
I love that, like, you're perfectly in the middle of Kevin and I. It's like we have our arms around you.
Look, I just wanted to be a part of the relationship.
You are, girl. You're not even a third wheel. You are included. We always want you to feel included.
I appreciate that. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
One of the things that I love about this film is really the theme of, finding faith and really pushing past your fears. And I wanted to ask the both of you, either personally, professionally, how do you work through pushing past your fears, either in your career or personally? And Bailee, we can start with you.
Oh man, pushing past my fears. I would say really, I'm really thankful. I have a wonderful family by my side and a really close circle of friends that truly do know me, and I think see me in ways that I don't see myself or fail to sometimes, and can be there to remind me of that. And so a whole lot of love from them, and then a lot of faith and trusting in my heart. So I always feel like fear, you know what I mean? You kind of got to hold on to it, make the most of it, and just give it your best shot sometimes. But yeah, grateful for the love in my life that's able to help me navigate it all.
That's awesome. And Kevin?
The idea of fear for me is a lot scarier than fear itself. And that sounds like some kind of quote. Maybe it is, I don't know. But I have found through experience that I get way more caught up with the idea of fear and the idea of failure, or the idea of not doing my best, more than when I actually do feel fear. So I always just try to push through. And by the time I push through, I realize it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. And it never is.
That's awesome. I feel like I just went to therapy today. Thank you, Kevin.
Right? I'm like, it's free too. I keep learning things as well. I'm like, this is great.
But also too, I love that all of these characters are so relatable, and we can always see a portion of ourselves in them. And I wanted to know, for you specifically, is there something that you found that you related to your characters, or also too that could be a quality trait that you decided to take from them after filming? And Kevin, we can start with you, since you've given us a therapy.
Well, I'm a pretty deep person, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
That's a great
thing.
Okay, cool. But I feel like Will is that way too. Even though he may come across as surface level, I feel like that's just a projection of what he thinks he needs to be. And he even says at the beginning of the film, like, if I'm going to fit in here, I have to be something I'm not. And I just think these are things that Will has thought about before. He's so concerned with trying to fit in because he knows he's an outsider. In that way, I've always felt like an outsider at times, and I think I can relate to that. There are elements of Will and elements of Kevin that go together, and then some elements of each of us that are different, for sure.
Bailee?
I agree. No, I think for me, one of the conversations that I had with the team was the idea of growing up, especially right now in this day and age with like social media and expectations, and the idea of being perfect or having it together all the time. And that's something that I feel on a daily basis in, my personal life, but then also with what I do. It's like, sometimes it feels like things are under a microscope, and, you can't mess up, or you can't have a flaw. And at the end of the day, that's impossible. And so I think, that was something that I really connected with Avery for, and then wanted to really lean into for the message of the idea of there's no such thing as perfect, and it's freaking exhausting to try to do it. And you've just got to like love yourself and be yourself at the end of the day, which sounds easy, and people say it all the time, but it takes work. But it's the biggest breath of relief and fresh air once you're able to just sink into who you are and trust it. And start to enjoy embracing what makes you. So I do love that about Avery, that she's vocal about that, and she always sees the best in people, which I try as well.
I'm loving these responses. I love
Good.
Having a great conversation with you guys. But the last question, Kevin, I have to ask you, because I was scared for your character when they brought up the Blob, because I was like, I don't think he understands what this really is. So did you actually get to try it, in real life, not just jumping on it, but being blown out into the lake?
I did it once for the film, and I'm not sure if that was the shot we used. I think it's me flying in there in the trailer on the Blob. I did it a couple of times at summer camp in my own life, but yeah, I mean, that was the first time I had ever done that.
I'm so scared.
Yeah.
I wanted to do the Blob.
You have to do it. It's a once in a
You
lifetime
let me.
experience, I promise. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna claim it right now. That's gonna happen.
The sequel. Avery's on the Blob the whole
Gonna happen.
time. Yeah.
Thank you both so much for taking the time to speak with me. I really appreciate it. You guys were fantastic to chat with today. Thank
You
you.
too. Thanks for coming on the date with us. We've got
Anytime.
you anytime, girl.
Bye.